And we are live. What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the Football Flex. Hope everyone is doing very well, having a good evening. We are here for UEFA Super Cup action. It is the Champions League winners, Paris Saint-Germain versus the... I've got to say it's going to be difficult. It's going to be tough because this game does serve as a reminder. You know, it does serve as a very real reminder of the end of last season. I've done my best. I've tried to move on, but it's going to be tough for us all this evening if you are a Manchester United fan, certainly. The winners of the UEFA Europa League, Tottenham Hotspur. Yeah, it's going to be difficult. It's going to be challenging. It's going to be tough. And, of course, the winner wins another European trophy. So, for Spurs, after going, 17 years or something ridiculous without winning a trophy, they can win another one. They can win another one very quickly in the UEFA Super Cup. For Paris Saint-Germain, they can also win another European trophy very, very quickly. Surprisingly, did not win the Club World Cup out there in America this summer. They were very impressive. They defeated big teams. They decimated the likes of Real Madrid and others. And many thought, after seeing the way they absolutely destroyed Inter Milan, 5-0 in the Champions League final? You don't win a Champions League final 5-0 against a good team, by the way. It's not as if they played any, average side. They played Inter Milan, very, very good team, absolutely destroyed them. You don't do that if you're not good. So a lot of people expected them to very easily and smoothly win the Club World Cup. And looked like they were going to do that until they faced Chelsea in the final. And they got absolutely destroyed, didn't they? Chelsea, incredibly impressive. And it's led to a lot of people going, let's see what Chelsea's got to offer. See what Chelsea's got to offer this season when it comes to the Premier League. But it's a weird one, isn't it? Even though PSG are not the world champions. They are the European champions only. They're not the world champions because they lost the Club World Cup. Chelsea are the world champions. They're still regarded as the best team in the world, aren't they, PSG? Given their impressive performances, still the Champions League is the pinnacle of club competition, obviously, in Europe. But you feel like world football as well. So PSG do certainly feel like the team to beat. And this is also a Spurs side that, yes, they won the second biggest continental competition in Europe, which is the Europa League last season, but they were the worst of the rest when it comes to the Premier League, right? They finished 17th. They were shocking. They were so bad that after winning their first trophy in so many years, 17 years, they still sacked their manager because they were that bad in the Premier League. It was that bad. Ange Postecoglou had to go because it was still that bad for them. So this isn't like a great Tottenham Hotspur side. This is that last season was a poor one. Now, they have brought in, of course, new signings, some of which do start this evening, in addition to, of course, a brand new manager. But it's going to be interesting because players have left. Obviously, Harry Kane left a couple of seasons ago. And the other half of that deadly combination, Kane and Son, is also now gone. It rhymes because Heung-min Son plays in the MLS now for LAFC. So we're in the very much post-Kane and Son era at Spurs. They have brought in the likes of Mohamed Kudus this summer. They have brought in João Paulinho on loan, which could be a bit of shrewd business. He's very rusty. Of course, he's someone who really hasn't played in the last 12 months because of just not being in favour at Bayern Munich. But when he was in the Premier League with Fulham, he was very much highly regarded and lots of teams were really interested in potentially signing him. And it didn't work out in Germany. Maybe it'll work out for him. Now he's playing regularly back in the Premier League once again. They do have injuries, though. Spurs, same situation for them as last season. James Maddison, of course, tore his ACL. He's only undergone ACL surgery just a couple of days ago. He's out for pretty much the whole season. You've got, of course, Kulusevski. He's still out with the same injury that ruled him out of the Europa League final. Dominic Solanke, shock, seemingly is injured as well. So the team that is Spurs this evening is Vicario in goal. Looks to be a 4-3-3 that Thomas Frank is playing. So you've got a back four that looks like Van de Ven, Danzo, Romero, and Pedro Porro. A midfield three that is Sarr, Bentancur, and João Paulinho. And a front three, possibly of Spence, Richarlison, and Kudus. Jed Spence, would he play that far forward? Maybe. But usually that's very far forward for him. So unless maybe it's a back five. This is the thing with Thomas Frank. Thomas Frank he switches systems. He can play a back four, he can play a back three. Because I look at that and go, that could be a back three. Google have got this as a 4-3-3, but actually that's got to be a 3-5-2. It's got to be a 3-5-2. Why have Google got that wrong? The back three will be Van de Ven, Danzo, Romero, Porro, and Spence as wing backs. And then you have, or three. Wait a minute. Where's Don Robbie?
No, wait a minute. Wait.
You got your back three. Van de Ven, Danzo, Romero, Porro, and Spence. So that's 5. Yeah, and then the 3 in midfield, Star, Benton, Corpelina, and then Richarlison and Kudus as a 2. Yeah. Google, man. Google. It took me a second. I mean, you know, who's doing these lineups on Google? Disgraceful. Where's Kenny?
Disgraceful. Absolutely disgraceful.
Yeah, it is. Now, for PSG, we know it's a 4-3-3 because they can't get that one wrong. In goal, no. Gigi Donnarumma. No. Donna is what he is at PSG. 100% leave. 100% he's going to be leaving PSG this summer. To where? Maybe the Premier League. Could be on his way to Manchester City. Could be. If it's not that, I don't really know where. Potentially. But it looks like it's going to be a 4-3-3. You've got Chevalier in goal, of course, the new goalkeeper. You've got Hakimi, Marquinhos, Pacho, and Mendes. Zaya, Emery, Vitinha, and Doué. Yeah, they might tweak it a little bit, actually. And a front three of Barcola, of course, Kvaratskhelia. On the other side, and Ousmane Dembele through the middle. So we will see what happens. The captains have to carry out their respective trophies. We've got over 100 people watching, guys, which is fantastic. It's great. If you haven't already, click the like button. Let's see if we can get to a quick 50 likes. We are at 38 likes at the moment, so let's see if we can get to 50. Be sure to subscribe as well. We are on our way to 22K, and there is going to be loads, guys, loads of watch-alongs, reactions, content, stuff we haven't even really announced yet this season here on the Football Flex. Obviously, watch-alongs, you'll have myself, you'll have Flex on his own, you'll have both of us together. So that's going to be a lot of fun. The next watch-along after today is going to be Friday, first game of the Premier League season. It's Liverpool versus Bournemouth. We will be live. We will be live for that one. Then, mere hours later, the early kickoff on Saturday, which is Villa versus Newcastle, we will be live. So it's going to be, and is that it for that weekend? Let me double check. I went through this with Fleck the other day. So we're live for Liverpool, Bournemouth, and Aston Villa, Newcastle. Yeah, and that's it for this weekend. Next weekend, we'll be live on Friday, which is West Ham, Chelsea. We'll be live early on Saturday for Manchester City versus Tottenham. And we'll also be live on the Monday that week because it's Newcastle versus Liverpool. Will Alexander Isak be a Liverpool player by that point? And could he be set to return to St. James's Park mere days at that point after leaving it? That could be absolutely fascinating, couldn't it? Some really interesting fixtures coming up. So if you haven't already, be sure to subscribe to the Football Flex. It's going to be a lot of fun this season. It's a big one. Next year, of course, it's the World Cup. And that's going to be living here as well. Hopefully, we might even be out in the United States. Keep it amongst yourselves. Keep it amongst yourselves, folks. It's going to be fun. It's going to be interesting. Big up to everyone in the chat, by the way. Marquis says, let's go PSG. Ridwan says, how's the weather been today, Owen? Do you know what? Obviously, it's hot. We're in the middle of a bit of another heat wave. It feels like getting a heat wave every other week here in the UK. So it's been hot here where I am. Not as hot for others down south. I know a lot of people down south, it's been really, really, really hot today. For me, it's been a high of like 21. So like Ridwan says it was 31 a few hours ago in Manchester. For where I am, it's 21. But for me, for where that's hot. Like that's hot, you know. So around here, that is quite sweltering. It's very humid as well. So, yeah. So, yes, we will. That's what we do. We're 5 likes away, by the way, from 50 already. Nearly 50 likes for kickoff, which is great. As the captains are just talking with the referee before kickoff. VAR, of course, is in effect this evening. I'm looking forward to the season ahead, guys. Obviously, it's going to be our first full season here on the Football Flex. We're still, the channel's still a baby, so bear with us. We'll be working to get everything right and going. And this is really infancy stages, for everything here. So if you've got any ideas for, content or what you would like to see, it's your channel. So let us know what you want to see. Let us know what you would like to see and new shows and what have you. Always in the chat, the comment section, super chats, members chats. Of course, you can become a member of the Flex Football Club as well by clicking that join button. So we will. It will see. Maybe Thomas Frank could be the perfect fit for Spurs in the sense that I know Spurs get really over the top with the Spurs way of playing. But Ange Postecoglou was so set in his ways, wasn't he? You had to play the Ange way. That was it. No room for changing. And it was his way or the highway when it came to his tactics. Thomas Frank really is the antithesis of that. Thomas Frank is it will change depending on the opponent. It will change depending on who's available. It will change depending on what we need out of the game. So it could be a 4-3-3. It could be a 3-5-2. It could be a 4-4-2. It could be a 5-4-1. Thomas Frank doesn't care as long as he wins the game. Which, his first and foremost, he did an interview with Sky when he was the Brentford manager. And he was like, what's the first thing? What's your best quality? And he was like, adaptability, my ability to adapt. So we'll see. As we await. And the game is off. The 2025 UEFA Super Cup is underway. As Vicario is going long, and it's gone straight out for a throw. And he was aiming for Richarlison. But he just missed. Fabsy says, big up Owen, 33 degrees here and the coming days. Bonehurt says, exclusive Owen to USA bomber. Be careful what you say there, Bonehurt. Won't be allowed in. If I did go with that kind of rhetoric, I'll be put on a list. They've just cleared that. I tell you what, there's a shot. Porro, it fouled to him about 30 yards out, and he just put it over the bar. Bit of a change of shirt for Spurs this year as well. They've got the crest in the middle. There was a period of time there, wasn't there, in football, where suddenly all of the clubs had their crests in the middle of the shirt as opposed to in the usual spot. I remember Man United had their one. This was like a sort of early, mid-2000s kind of thing. Around about sort of 2005, wasn't it? About 2000, about 2004, 2005-ish, 2006, in and around that time. Suddenly every club had the crest in the middle, didn't they? Remember the Arsenal shirt? It was very much a Nike thing at the time. I tell you what, Spurs are trying to pressurize PSG there, and PSG have a throw. Mendes to take. Really good fullback, isn't he? Top notch. Really impressive. Manchester United were linked with him for like a hot second. And just hearing on commentary, Darren Fletcher talking about Chavalet in goal for PSG. Apparently he's unbelievable with his feet. Tipped to be the French number one in the future. Maybe that's why Luis Enrique is so keen on him. That's very true, Sciliano. That's, maybe I've sort of pigeonholed myself there in terms of the timeline. Maybe I sort of mid-90s, like a 10-year period, maybe mid-90s to sort of early mid-2000s. Here's Richarlison. Back to Porro. Goes out for a Spurs throw-in. Make sure I got my teams up here. Because, you know, I am a professional. Never doubt. Danzo with the throw-in for Spurs. Looks like he's going to go with a long one. There is some height in that team. Long throw-in. Oh, it's a header nearly. I tell you what, it nearly found to Mohamed Kudus there. There is a bit of a half-hearted call for a penalty there from Richarlison, but it is Richarlison, of course. He'll claim for anything. Vicario on the ball, waiting to pick the ball up. He does. And I think if you were a Spurs fan and you were used to Spurs playing out from the back and the troubles that maybe came with that, it doesn't look like that's going to be the case much longer for this Spurs team. I don't think Thomas Frank's all that interested in it. C1 Chaos says, could Spurs get relegated? No Son, no Maddison, no impactful signings. Could be dangerous. I don't think so, because I think actually they'll be probably better off because Thomas Frank would just be more pragmatic. Ball in behind there for Hakimi to run onto. And I tell you what, Jed Spence does really, really well there. Really well. I think actually, again, Spurs will be better off because Thomas Frank will be much more pragmatic than Ange Postecoglou. He will know his limitations of his squad. He won't be as hard-headed as Ange and be like, I don't care if my players are shit. They have to play this way, even if it gets us relegated. Thomas Frank will look at it as, these are my players. These are the limitations of them. How do I get the best out of them? That's got to be a foul on Pedro Porro. It is a free kick to Spurs. So I think actually Spurs will be better off. Now, whether or not they'll be challenging for European spots, I'm not sure. We're talking as Man United fans, aren't we? Saying, how do you go from 15th to challenging for European spots? How do you go from 17th to challenging for European spots? But Spurs are in the Champions League because of winning this Europa League trophy. So they've then got to balance the European football with they've got balanced European football with, like you said, a squad that it has lost key players like Son, but Kudus a season ago, not last season, but a season prior, was a player that lots of people were interested in because he had a fantastic season at West Ham. Look at this. Vicario is going to put this ball in the box. Free kick just inside the PSG half. Vicario goes long. And I think Vicario will be better off for not having to play up from the back as much. Ball nearly foul for Romero in the box. Vitinha blocking the cross. Hakimi clears. But Spurs actually with some early pressure here. They're keeping the ball in the PSG half. It's 5 minutes. It doesn't mean too much, of course, because PSG can strike like a coiled snake and inject you with the venom of scoring a goal at any point. You have to be very, very careful against the European champions, don't you? As we're 4 likes away from 60 likes and 8 subscribers away from 21,400 here on the Football Flex. A reminder, we will be live in just under 48 hours' time, Friday, for the Premier League curtain raiser. It's going to be Liverpool versus Bournemouth at Anfield. Most expect Liverpool to win. You never know. There might be a bit of a shock. Last season, Bournemouth, very impressive. Liverpool, league champions. I think you expect Liverpool to win, though. Vicario, once again, hitting the ball up the pitch. Headed down by Richarlison. The Spurs player was intercepted, but Rodrigo Bentancur went back to Vicario and Spurs have the ball once again. I think Spurs have settled into this game very well, actually. Ball to Richarlison. Holt at the play really well. Is Mohamed Kudus. Oh, that's shocking. That's shocking. He's gone to pass it, and he's just passed it straight out of play. It's nowhere near a white shirt. So poorly given possession away there. And now PSG have the ball. Thomas Frank, I'd be furious. What a silly turnover of possession. Just a sheer lack of concentration or nerves. Good grief. Here's his man Dembele. That's a good pass, forward pass. Zaire Emery, still a really young player, a lot of potential, a lot of talent. There's some really exciting young players in this PSG, which makes them even more frightening that they've already won a Champions League. Get the impression now with their recruitment, they're much more refined, much more selective, much more sort of picky, not looking, of course, for the big names, only looking for players that have hunger, can stick to the game plan. Great switch that by Vitinha. Orchestrator, supreme in that midfield. Bradley Barcola. Got two up against him. It doesn't matter. Oh, brilliant interchange. Kvaratskhelia just couldn't turn, but it's just the one-touch speed of passing, isn't it, with PSG? Look at this. Look at this. Just 1-2 touch. Kvaratskhelia is going to try to do that one where he takes the touch with the left, try and sweep it with the right. In the end, he's just really off balance, but he's top, isn't it? It's just top play. And that's what I was saying before. When you talk about that, 5 minutes in, Spurs go, actually, you know what? We've settled quite well here. We're not doing too well. We're not doing too badly, rather. Then suddenly, 1-2 touch passing, boom, shot. And Vicario, long kick. It was a header one there in midfield by Sarr. Sarr trying to win it back. But PSG have possession once again. It's a good turn by Barco. Look at the speed. He's just... Oh, he drew a crowd of white shirts. And I tell you what, as Palhinha has gone down on his competitive debut for Spurs. Let's have a look. Yeah, he just got kneed in the head, actually, by his teammate, didn't he? By Danzo. Ridwan says, I wish I could transport to Scotland on hot days. I tell you what, yeah, Ridwan. If you're, and this is my recommendation as someone that is up north in the UK. I won't say where, obviously, but up north, it's well worth it. Get as high as you can in the country. Not in that way. Well, not because that poor shit all over again. We've got too long to stream to go down that avenue. Redrun says, I'm up north to go further. Go further. That's what I'll say. Go further. Richarlison in behind. It's just a bit of a heavy touch. Did he keep it in? No, I don't think he did. Fabsy, one of our mods, says, my prediction, first lucky goal from Spurs, but PSG win from behind because they are great in coming back as the Paris Saint-Germain Ultras are behind the PSG goal in that first half. PSG, it was odd there. They went short and then ended up going long, and Spurs just get possession back for Vicario. That going to go out? Yeah, it's going to go out for a throw-in. The press was a bit too much for him to handle. Vitinha, I mean, he's just... At this point, he's just press resistant, isn't he, Vitinha? It doesn't matter if you try and put someone on him. He just sprays the ball around, picking up the ball from deep areas. Left foot, right foot, doesn't matter. Just makes PSG tick. He's just so impressive. That's a poor pass. Sarr wins the ball back, but Spurs, they win the ball back again. Here's Kudus. Now, he's got space to run into. This is what he's good at. He's good at dribbling with the ball. Mendes will come after him, though. Porro, back to Kudus. He's got, I tell you what, if they had a bit more about him, Kudus ball in, back post for Richarlison. I tell you what, Richarlison does really well to keep it in. It's going out. He manages to keep it in. Oh, shocking. After all the hard work that Richarlison had done there, a ball comes in. It looks like it's going out for a goal kick. He somehow manages to hook it and keep it in. And then he does a rubbish cross and it goes straight out for a goal kick. Oh, dear. We've got over 150 people watching, folks, which is great here on the Football Flex. 1 like away from 60 likes. So if you haven't already clicked that like button, be sure to subscribe as well to the Football Flex. We'll be getting Flex's reaction after the game. And so much content coming up here on the Football Flex this seaon. We've got watch-alongs like this with myself, with Flex, with us both. Obviously, Premier League games, European games, select games, La Liga, Serie A, international games, reactions, news stories. We're going to have it covered. Interviews. I won't say any more. 12 minutes gone and still 0-0 in this UEFA Super Cup final. Been a very even game so far. Feel like it might be one that needs a goal to spring it into life. PSG still very comfortable. Yeah, Spurs definitely playing with a back five. As you can see, 5 white shirts right across the edge of the box. Ousmane Dembele picking it up in a central position. He's in that kind of like false nine, isn't he? You can see him like, look how deep he is. That's your striker, by the way. A really good false nine position. Sweeps it out to Kvaratskhelia. He's on the other side now, actually. On the right-hand side. Kvaratskhelia cuts back. Vitinha, cross into the box, back post. Nearly went to Barcola. PSG win it back though, retain possession. They just keep the pressure on. Swept out wide again. Hakimi. Kvaratskhelia. Kvaratskhelia again. Another one. It felt like Kvaratskhelia was a real missing piece for PSG. Like many people pointed out, the PSG weren't all that until sort of January-ish time last year. Then they started to click in. Here's Kvaratskhelia again. Tried to cut inside. But he's dispossessed. Bentancur gives it to Richarlison. Spurs on the transition here. Couple of white shirts. Bentancur still running. Richarlison by himself, perhaps. It's got to be offside, Bentancur. Yeah, he is. Richarlison. He made a mess of that again. Bentancur did some really good work. Gets the ball, playing on the transition. You've got to be precise and pinpoint, don't you? Very frustrating there for Bentancur. Big up Gavin in the chat. Skiliana says he looks so good at Napoli. It's amazing Real Madrid didn't sign him to replace Modric. Yeah, it's top. Oh, good 1-2. Barcola, he's in behind there. He's going to keep going. Sarr does really well. Sarr's actually been quite impressive so far. A couple of really critical tackles. Spurs, they went with a long ball forward. They were aiming for Richarlison, but it was nowhere near. And PSG just growing into the game again. Bit of possession. Here's Kvaratskhelia. Doué sweeps it out. Right, he was asking a lot for Barcola there, and it's gone out for a Spurs throw. Overhit that pass. But 15 minutes gone. PSG, Champions League holders 0. Tottenham Hotspur, holders of the UEFA Europa League, also 0. There's Luis Enrique trying to get his instructions across to his players. Pointing. I feel like he's a made man now in Paris, isn't he? With delivering what nobody else was able to, that being the UEFA Champions League. Kudus, good flick onto Richarlison, but the assistant's given it an offside. Gavin says, Owen, with this transfer window, which team you worried about this season? But, the easy one to say is probably Brentford, wouldn't it? Given the players that they've lost and the manager that they've replaced him with, and Keith Andrews, and looks like Johan Wissa still could be on his way out to Newcastle or to Saudi or somewhere. But in the middle of all of that, they did sign Kelleher, didn't they, from Liverpool? He is a really good keeper. I think he's very good. But that would be one you'd worry about, losing Frank and Mbumo, Wissa, all in one window. That's got to be an issue, hasn't it? It's got to be a problem. You worry for them. I'm not actually worried about these. I'm really interested. I'm really interested to see how Sunderland do in the Premier League this season. I feel like they've signed a lot of players. Obviously, Granit Xhaka probably the most high profile. And it's just a great team to have back in the Prem, innit? That's a Barclays team. Really great for the Northeast, having them back in with Newcastle. And of course, with how our Newcastle have done under the new ownership, you hope Sunderland can do well. You know what I mean? Yeah, Leeds haven't really done all that much. I mean, today, Calvert-Lewin, wasn't it? That was the big announcement. But, I mean, injuries and whether or not he'll even play. So I think you're right with Leeds. And Daniel Farke's got a not very good record at all when it comes to the Premier League. So much so that when they even got promoted, he was already under pressure because they were like, actually, I'm not sure he could stay in the Prem. So, yeah, they certainly could be in a bit of trouble, you feel. So free kick here to Spurs, 18 minutes gone. Pedro Porro and Mohamed Kudus are going to stand over it. This has got to be seen as an opportunity for Spurs if they can make something of it. Going to be Porro with it in. It's headed over the top by, I think it was Romero there. Nothing really all that much. Ridwan says Burnley are finished too. Yeah, well, Scott Parker, he's got very much unfinished business with the Prem, doesn't he? He's been promoted before with Bournemouth. They got absolutely smashed, didn't they, in their first few games? Obviously, that game at Anfield against Liverpool, sacked very quickly because of it. They get relegated with Fulham as well. So Scott Parker, it's not really worked out for him in the Prem. So it'll be interesting to see how they do. You just hope that it's not like last season. Last season, it was no shock, was it, that it was some real low views on the Premier League matches. You know, Man United doing not well. No real title race to speak of. No real relegation race to speak of. No real sort of top four race. There was nothing interesting about the Prem last season, was there? Upon reflection, it really is one of the worst seasons. Obviously, if you're a United fan, you're biased. It's one you want to get out of your mind quickly, but it was just absolutely shit. Patiño, a rare heavy touch by him, and Kudus has managed to win the ball back and managed to keep it. Kudus again. Romero. Passed the ball forward to Richarlison. Got to hold the ball up. Actually did really well there. Good centre-forward play. Van de Ven steps forward. Going to play the ball in behind. Is he going to run onto it? Spence, he does really well to actually make it. Gets the ball off Hakimi. We're going to get a ball in. Sarr with the cross is just really poor, actually. Some of that final ball or crosses from Spurs in this first half has been bad. Because they have some of their build play has been pretty good. They've won the ball from PSG in good areas. They've nullified PSG as best as you can. You're not going to. But their final pass or just decision-making just not there. That's a short pass. Spurs have got it back here in the final third. Bentancur, a good position for Spurs. Yeah, but good pressure from PSG. Bentancur, he's back in his own half. Look at that. Very good press. Macario's put it straight out. But you wonder how much Thomas Frank watched that Club World Cup final and saw the success that Chelsea had in putting pressure on PSG. Chelsea's sort of press really worked. Of course, they had clinical finishers like Cole Palmer as the reason he does that celebration. Spurs don't have that quality and they don't have that composure in the team as well. That went with people like Harry Kane and Heung-min Son, that ability just in front of goal, cold as ice. Can you put the ball in the back of the net? Spurs, they don't really have that. I mean, to be honest, there's a ball in behind. Barcola's going to run onto it. He's got the pace. Passes it back. Doué, that's a good touch. Look at that touch. Pass wasn't great. Bit of a ricochet. But you're right, Ridwan, in the final. And Kudus had a bit of a nibble there. Bit of a nibble on Vitinha. In the final, Spurs weren't great. That Europa League final, I mean, I think I've just completely erased it out of my mind, Men in Black settings, because I just don't want to think about it. But from what I recall, Spurs weren't that great. They just, by sheer grit, they just wanted it more than us. But there was no threat from either side. It was a really poor final. We had that one that was off the line. Was that Højlund with Van de Ven? But it was just shit. Mohamed Kudus has got the ball. He passes it. Richarlison's going to get it. Is he going to take an early shot? And Chevalier just tips it over the bar. But I tell you what, that's the closest anyone's come to scoring a goal in this UEFA Super Cup. And Chevalier, we've had our first look at what he can do with his hands. There's all this talk about what he can do with his feet. But Kudus actually does really well. Gets his head up. Actually finds a strike partner. And Richarlison, that's good. Because he needed to take it earlier. He needed to take it earlier because there was nothing else really on. Pace of the defenders would have been too much. Took a little bit of a deflection now, so Chevalier actually does quite well. Tips it over the bar. If it had gone in, you'd have had a look at him. Definitely. Kudus, corner, ball in. Header runs onto it. Oh, just headed wide by Bentancur. And I take them. Spurs maybe just had the better of the chances here. And this was what I was saying earlier on. You know, someone was asking me, saying, you know, do you think Spurs could actually be in trouble because of last season? I really say no, because I think that Thomas Frank is exactly the right manager that they need for right. Look how many white shirts are pressuring them. Look how many white shirts are forward there, putting the pressure on PSG. Forcing them to hit over the top, and they've got it back, pressing really well. Thomas Frank's doing really well there. I really think Thomas Frank is the right manager at the right time for Spurs. I think that he'll realize the lack of quality he has in certain parts of his squad, and he's not afraid to adapt. It depends on the game. Some games he'll play 5-3-2. Some games he'll play 4-4-2. Sometimes he'll play 4-3-3. Sometimes he'll play 4-2-3-1. It depends on the opponent. It depends on the players he's got available to him. And it depends what he wants out of the game and what the game requires. And I think that for whatever reason, that quality in coaches has kind of been like, I don't know, like it's dirty. Like you can't do that. Oh, what? You don't have a style. You don't have an identity. You don't have this set way of playing. You don't play the same tactics every single game. Can't believe you do that. You mean you just adapt to the opponents because you know you're not as good as them? Yeah, I want to win the game. So how should fucking work? That's what it should be. So I think Frank will actually do quite well with Spurs this season. Again, whether or not they get into the Champions League again, I'm not sure about that. But I don't think they finish 17th. Liverpool have just got a here we go from Fabrizio Romano. He has said, breaking Giovanni Leone to Liverpool. Here we go. It's an 18-year-old centre-back from Parma. It's no loan. It was never discussed. Leone joins Liverpool. He's part of Arne Slot's plans. He's been signed for around 35 million euros. What's that? About 30 million quid with a salon clause. No convincing ever needed, as Leone wanted Liverpool. And I think that's actually a bit of a sign as to what's to happen with Mark Gahey. The sort of developments today, it looked like at one point Liverpool could make an offer, a bid, try and sign him 35 million quid. Now it actually looks like Mark Gahey is going to spend one more season at Palace and he's going to leave as a free agent, which I didn't really expect. So he could leave on a free and maybe go to Liverpool for nothing next season. But a year's a long time in football. Anything can happen. And maybe Gahey's not the same player he was. Or maybe he goes to the World Cup, storms it with England and does even better. We shall see. Very interesting. We've got 165 people watching, folks, which is great here on the Football Flex. We're 30 likes away from 100. So if you haven't already, click that like button. Let's see if we can get to 100 likes. We're 6 subscribers away from 21,400. So be sure to subscribe. You'll have reaction from Flex after the game. Remember, we will be live in 48 hours for the Premier League opener. Long throw in. It was towards Van der Ven, but couldn't get his head on that one. Danso, once again, cross into the box. Wasn't a great one again. But I think Spurs are really holding their own in this game. For a team that finished 17th, going up against the European champions, they've had more attempts, more on target. PSG have only had one shot. Spurs, meanwhile, have had 4, 1 on target. I think Thomas Frank, bar being 1-0 up, he'd be thrilled with this opening close to half hour. And Chevalier, you saw there, he was nearly on the, nearly went out for a corner, but he was comfortable wait to the last second to go for the pass. Got a round of applause from his manager as well. And it's PSG currently with the throw. It's Mendes to take. Fabsy says, what place will they get then this season? Spurs, I think they'll get top half. I couldn't tell you where, though. I think they'll get top half. Like I said, I think Frank's the right person at the right time for them. Oh, brilliant. It played in behind Barcola. First time he's got a real bit of space. He's into the box, tried to cut it back. And it was good defended by Pap Sarr in the end. Like I said, has actually done quite well in this game. He's got a good engine on him. But look at that. Ousmane Dembele playing in that really, really deep role. The fact you can't even really call him a striker with how deep he is at some points. Drop deeps, plays it in behind. Barcola got it. He looked to cut it back. Spurs read it. And now it's a corner. Vitinha, the number 17 for PSG, is going to stand over it. Vitinha standing over this one. Not huge amount of height in that PSG team, is there? Looking at Marquinhos, maybe. Maybe someone like a Dembele. Ball in. That's a very poor delivery. Might go straight out for a throw. Yeah, really, really poor. Really, really slob it. As Alan Hansen would say, slob it. Richarlison, good touch. Manages to turn. Bit of space to play in here. Porro. Is he going to look for the switch? The switch is on. He didn't back himself. He bottled it. He bottled it. Jed Spence, he was in so much space. He's going over here, over here. And you've basically got to ask yourself a question as a player. And this is what Pedro Porro did. He bottled it. Do you have it in your locker, your ability to go for the switch? Can you play the switch? Do you think that can pay off? And he played safe. He shit himself. No, I'll turn backwards. Try and keep the ball. You're willing to take that bit of gamble. Couldn't do it. PSG have the ball. Vitinha. Vitinha nearly intercepted there by Kudus, but played a bit of cat and mouse, wasn't he? Is that good on the ball? Chevalier, good pass. Pacho traveling with the ball here, nearly at the halfway line. Doué. Haven't seen much of him in this game so far, but he did get a foul there from Richarlison. Shock. 3 likes away from 80 likes, guys. If you haven't already, click that like button. Nearly 31 minutes gone. Still 0-0. Could we have our second consecutive penalty shootout on the Football Flex? Ball in behind. Akimu, who's also been quite quiet in his first half. Oh, he's made, again, sloppy. Sloppy pass. Oh, more sloppy from Spurs. Give the ball away straight away. Yeah, PSG just haven't sort of sparked into life just yet, have they? Doué, Kvaratskhelia, Zaire Emery, and Spurs win it back. And I tell you what, if they get this right, pass it out wide to Porro. He does. He thought for a second he wasn't going to do it. Now do you back yourself to do the crossfield pass? He does. He does look for the switch. Kudus. He just hasn't. Oh, Spencer's done brilliantly. He wins it back. Oh, I was going to say Kudus. He had the chance to play in Jed Spence, and his pass was short, but Spence won it back, and he did quite well. Pedro Porro again. Ball in. There's only one white shirt. Falls back to Kudus. Ooh. There was only one white shirt in the box. It was Richarlison, but still somehow after a bit of a ricochet, managed to fall to Kudus. And I thought this is going to be it. This is the best shot. He tried to take it, but it was blocked. Big up King of the Indies in the chat. C1 Chaos says very pre-season vibe. Sometimes it's the way with the Super Cup. Remember when Manchester United were in it in 2008 after we won the Champions League? We lost to Zenit St. Petersburg. If I recall correctly, I think Paul Scholes got sent off in that game for like punching the ball into the net. It was a handball thing. It was, yeah, I remember that. Man United versus Zenit St. Petersburg. And Paul Scholes from corner went bang. Punched the ball in the net. Oh, I'll tell you what. It wasn't a bad cross, but Vicario does really well to hold that one. It was a low-driven crossing, but Vicario managed to hold it very, very confidently. Kudus plays it back to Van de Ven. Oh, it's not a good pass. PSG won it back, but Spurs immediately get the ball back. Vicario, little dink pass over the top towards Pedro Porro. It was a good pass. Porro tried that little 1-2 just to get it behind Barcola, but he's put Danzo in a bit of a difficult position, but Spurs managed to play out. And they had them boxed in. They've given the ball away back to PSG. 12 minutes to go till half-time. Still 0-0. Very much a bit of ring rust here from the European champions, you feel like. Feel like this team that was high intensity, high press in PSG. Maybe just feeling the effects of, playing a lot of football over the last few months and just coming back off preseason. Dembele tried to cut back in, shift it onto his right foot, but dispossessed. Richarlison, he was trying to buy the foul. Referee was not interested. Dembele tries to play the ball in behind. Spence, I tell you what, he fizzed the ball back to Vicario. Vicario's just kicked it out for a throw. He probably would have a word with Spence going, you asked a bit much of me there. Fizzed it to his left foot. If you're a right-footed keeper that's not particularly comfortable, you might be a little bit pissed. Kvaratskhelia is into the box, up against Spence. Well, he managed to get the ball in. Oh, it just came back to Dembele. Would have been a bit of a snapshot. It's a half chance. Just snatches at it. There you go. Comes out to him. And I tell you what, for a player of his quality, he'll be frustrated with that. We're just seeing at the other end, this was the shot that was blocked by Kudus. Would have been on target. Was going towards that bottom left-hand corner of the goal. Good pass that by Vicario. Oh, heavy touch by Kudus. Nearly lost it in a really dangerous position. It's a ball played in behind for Spurs to run onto. Yeah. Zaire Emery did really well. Shoved Bentancur off the ball, wins it back. Skiliano says, has PSG played too much football? Perhaps. I mean, how many games have they played before this one? Out of curiosity. Because their pre-season finished. So this is genuinely, unless I'm reading this wrong, this is their first match since the Club World Cup final. They haven't played a game of football since then. Since the 13th of July, PSG haven't played a game, which would explain a lot, wouldn't it, watching this one? Of course they're rusty. They haven't played in 6 weeks. Or longer, actually. Ball across goal. Falls back. Zaire Emery. Oh, it wasn't the best. Hakimi takes the shot. It's blocked. So that's mad. So basically, if you play in the Club World Cup and get to the latter stages, You just don't really have a pre-season. That's their approach. PSG have gone with that. They've gone with we won't have one. I mean, Chelsea did have a pre-season. Well, I say that they've played twice. They played 2 games in the space of 2 days. That's what they did. They played Bayer Leverkusen once, and then AC Milan after that. That was it. And now next up, they played Crystal Palace in the Prem. So, yeah, really, it would explain a lot, wouldn't it? And then maybe that's the case then for this weekend against Crystal Palace. Maybe Chelsea are one to watch them. I mean, they're playing Palace at home on the Sunday. You think they'll be okay, but this is a Crystal Palace that were good against Liverpool. Second half, absolutely deserved to get to penalties. They were probably the better team. Chelsea might be one to watch just to be like, well, they haven't played a lot of football. But in their 2 preseason games, they did beat Leverkusen 2-0. Obviously, Erik ten Hag's Bayer Leverkusen. They beat AC Milan 4-1. So, quite curious, isn't it? So Spurs free kick. It's inside the PSG half just. Vicario's going to take, which once again says everything about what the ball's going to be. It's just going to be pumped in to the box. At the moment, Richarlison's standing in an offside position. Towards Romero. Red heads it back in. Oh, bubbles down. Oh, it's tipped onto the bar, but it's in. Spurs have scored. It's 1-0. And I'll tell you why it's deserved. Mickey van der Ven has put it in the back of the net. And the UEFA Europa League champions lead the Champions League winners, and they absolutely deserve it. And I mentioned Vicario just goes long, headed across goal by Romero. Then you get a couple of ricochets, knockdowns. There's a save by Chevalier, which is a top save. He'll be furious, the goalkeeper, because he'll be pissed. Look at this. Ball headed across goal, little drop down. Oh, it's a top save, by the way. Bentancur does really well. Look, Bentancur has the shot. Keeper tips it onto the bar. He'd be furious. It's a world-class save. And then it just ricochets, comes back down. Mickey van der Ven. Look at that for a save, by the way. And there's Van der Ven. Knocks it into an empty net. 1-0 to Spurs. And I tell you what's deserved. And now, Spurs have got something to hang on to. And they, like I said, they absolutely deserve it. They're just checking the goal. The only thing I was worried about, I was just going to say, right, check over goal stands. I was a little bit worried about Bentancur. He kind of was backing in a little bit. But yeah, they've deserved this. Spurs deserve this, absolutely. Can't argue against that. Mickey van der Ven put Spurs 1-0 up. Like I said, if I was Chevalier, I'd just be Chevalier. It's how you say it. I reckon I've done like 3 or 4 different pronunciations of his name. Chevalier, I'm going to go with. I think Chevalier would be pissed. I would. In my debut, I've just pulled off a worldie to tip that onto the bar, point blank range. And there you go. Open goal. Put it in the back of the net. Oh, that's when you get annoyed at your defenders. You've gone, I've done everything for you there. And you're ball watching. But 1-0. After winning a Champions League where they beat a lot of English teams along the way in the form of Liverpool, Villa, Arsenal. Now, maybe it's Chelsea and Spurs that are causing problems for Paris Saint-Germain. Thomas Frank could win a trophy in his first competitive game as Spurs head coach. If you haven't already, click the like button. 2 likes away from now. Like Barcola's in behind, into the box. Tried to cut it back, but there were 2 Spurs defenders. And this is what I'm saying now. This is where Thomas Frank, being the coach, is actually going to be really beneficial for them. He'll adapt. to what's happening in this game. And his adaptation, going, right, we'll go 5 at the back. And we'll do this because it's what the players we've got. And against this PSG team, it's the best form of offense. It's working. Short quarter by Vitinha. Turn. Duo with a shot. Deflection. Spins out for a corner. 2.5 minutes left to go of this first half. Spurs 1-0 up, deservedly so. Mickey van de Ven puts Spurs ahead. Oof. 1 like away from 90 likes, folks. And you just feel like whenever they're getting in these sort of deeper positions, these more, forward positions, PSG they're just overplaying. They're overplaying. 5 subscribers away from 21,400 as well. Spurs 1-0 up. And Vicario's not had to make any real save of substance that I can think of as well. I mean, you would argue for this 45 minutes, it's been a bit of a masterclass by Thomas Frank. He's got it absolutely spot on. He's had a look at Luis Enrique and he said, look, Chelsea, they gave us the blueprint. We'll press you. We'll try and get our luck from set pieces. And we'll almost make sure we want it a bit more. Richarlison, is he going to be onside there? I think he is. Holds the ball up. Plays it to Kudus. Oh, it's just gone past him. Kudus, ball into the box. Again, end product. It's been a bit of a staple from Kudus in this first half. The endeavour's been there, but the end product hasn't. Less than 60 seconds left of normal time. We'll see if there's any stoppage time added. There was a heat break, wasn't there? So there'll be a little bit of stoppage time. We hit 90 likes, by the way, guys, which is great. Next up, 100. If you haven't already, click that like button. Be sure to subscribe to the Football Flex. 5 subscribers to go until 21,400. And it's Mickey van de Ven's goal in the 39th minute has put the winners of the Europa League ahead against Paris Saint-Germain. This is going to be another set-piece effort by Spurs here because it's going to be a long throw. Long throw from Danzo. Long throw by Danzo. It's really high up in the air. Kvaratskhelia got the head to it. Doesn't get very far. Danzo out to Spence. He takes the shot. Do you let it go out? Oh, I thought Danzo would just let it go for a corner. Richarlison. Oh, it's in the post. Oh, my goodness me. The ball goes in. Richarlison flicks it on. And then Kudus flicks it on again, I think, and it hits the post. Well, that could have been 2 goals to the good. Oh, my goodness me. And I mentioned the great save from Chevalier earlier on, but this one, he was just sort of stooping. I don't think he could believe it hit the post. Whoa. Could have been 2-0. And PSG might need this half-time. They look on the ropes. Absolutely all on the ropes. 10 seconds away from half-time. There's only 1 minute of stoppage time. And that's a switch of play by PSG. Can't be much more time. And there it is, half-time. Well, it's half-time in this one. And Mickey van de Ven is the difference. We're just seeing the replay here. Yep, he was onside. But not a lot. It was onside. But it was João Palhinha, excuse me, who had the shot. Look at this save. Top save by Chevalier. But there's Mickey van de Ven. He's the quickest to react. The rest of the PSG defenders are ball watching. Stabs the ball into the back of the net. And puts Spurs 1-0 up. Wow. And Thomas Frank, in his first match, in his first competitive match for Spurs, has got this absolutely spot on. It's so far I mean, he's 45 minutes away from an absolute tactical masterclass by Thomas Frank in this one. Spurs, they've been difficult to break down. They've had the better of the chances. They've looked dangerous from set pieces. They've been adaptable. They've been fluid to play in, start with this back three, which has been a flat back five in defensive moments, but they haven't had to defend too much. They're not falling for the traps that are being set by a false nine and Ousmane Dembele. If anything, he's getting deeper and deeper and deeper, just trying to get something, get on the ball and do something. Some people are just saying something about Sekou Kone here. Let's just have a look about that. Sekou Kone has left the pitch on a stretcher and was holding a mask to his face. Really hope it's nothing serious. So that is really, really bad. Manchester United Academy and Tamworth players have been sent back to the changing rooms for halftime earlier. Sekou Kone continues to be treated on the pitch for a head injury. Hopefully nothing serious. So our fingers crossed. That would be absolutely awful, wouldn't it? Let's see if we can find out any more details on that. That does put a bit of a sad note on that there. Very, very concerning. That's really, really. Kristen says Kone received a clash of heads. He got up, aided, but then went back to the floor. Hopefully, hopefully he's getting the help that he needs there. That is concerning. Is that under 23s? It's under 23 games, isn't it? Hopefully it's just gone. He's gone to the nearest hospital. That's what Ridwan says there. That is a bit concerning. Hopefully he in those situations. The problem is with head injuries and stuff like that is you can't really speculate because it can be anything. It can be something that again is just incredibly precautionary. It can be something that isn't, it's an impact thing and it's not too bad. Hopefully it's something that he puts out a message later on and it's fine. But yeah, he had a clash of heads. Hopefully it's not that bad. The head injuries are scary, very, very scary, especially with anyone. Of course, if we hear anything more on that, we'll of course keep you updated as the stream goes on. But big up Chris. Kristen will keep us updated on that one. Nice one. Kristen's watching the game. But yes, if you are just joining us, half time in the UEFA Super Cup, and it is indeed that scoreline. Your eyes are not deceiving you. It is Paris Saint-Germain 0, Tottenham Hotspur 1. And I must say, a really impressive first half by Spurs. They absolutely look like a team, PSG, who haven't played since the Club World Cup final. And they haven't. Chelsea, they obviously won the Club World Cup. They've played 2 pre-season games. PSG, goose egg, they've played 0. And they look like it. Spurs, meanwhile, well drilled, knew what they were doing in their system. You know what I liked, actually? And maybe this is just the old school me. Maybe that's what it is. But I like that they're not taking risks defensively. I like that there isn't this insistence on you've got to play out from the back. You've got to build up from the back. You've got to play short. I like this idea of you can. It's not to say that you can't. If you're not got any pressure, why should you be direct and have a chance of giving the ball away? If you can play out from the back, if it's on, then yeah, do it. But there isn't this insistence of you've got to play out from the back. If it's not on and you've got really good players that you're playing against, players that, check your ego at the door, they're better than you. PSG are better than Spurs, newsflash. Then go long, play the percentages. And when you get set pieces, go, you know what? Why are we trying to do what they're better at us than doing, which is keep the ball on the floor and try and play tiki-taka around them? Why wouldn't we just go with a crossfield ball, see if we can get a knockdown, see if it bounces around a little bit, in the box, and see if something happens? And that's exactly what did. That's exactly what did happen. It bounced down and it was just tap it in the back of the net. So I like that from Thomas Frank, and that's why I know I've mentioned it a couple of times in this watch along, but that's why I actually think Spurs are going to be fine this season, because I think that whilst you could make an argument that the squad's got worse, and obviously they've got big players missing like Maddison for pretty much the whole season, I think that because of the coach, and a really good example was last season with Brentford. They lost Ivan Toney, of course. We went to Saudi, and it was Brentford. They're Ivan Toney FC. We saw what happened when with them when he was banned, and they really struggled. They're going to get relegated. They're going to get relegated. That's what it's going to be. No, he just adapted. And Mbumo, Wissa, they'll pick up. They'll score more goals. They did. So much so that everyone's trying to buy Brentford players. We signed Brian Mbumo for the best part of 70 million all in, because we're like, look at what Thomas Frank was able to do with him. Wissa, the same. I think he's a top coach. And when we were getting linked, as United were getting linked with Thomas Frank for a period of time there when Eric Ten Hag. This was before Ten Hag got the backing from Ineos. During that period of time, it was like, Man United could talk to Thomas Frank, and there was a lot of snobbery from United fans at the time. Can't get Thomas Frank. He's not a good coach. Was he the right fit for United? Probably not. For that size, that stature, and there is a expectation. I'm not sure at Manchester United you can play like maybe they were in that first half. Flex messaging me. You can't. Maybe at Man United you maybe can't get away with playing like that. But I think there's something in me that says he'll do all right with Spurs. He'll do okay. The only thing that I think might be a concern for him is when he goes pragmatic. Will Spurs fans be able to keep their egos in check for that? Will they get a little bit of the West Ham complex, which is for West Ham, they're in this perpetual cycle, which I never understand, where they talk, they're another one when they go like, we've got to play the West Ham way. We've got to play the West Ham way. Why are we not playing the West Ham way? And they get what they think is a modern coach, an attacking coach, and it goes to shit. And then they go, oh my God, we need to get someone that will be a bit more defensive, a bit more pragmatic. And they do well, and it keeps them up, and they progress up the league. And then they get to a certain level and they go, right, we need to be playing more sexy football now. And they get rid of the pragmatic coach for someone else, and it doesn't go very well. And I think sometimes you just have to realize kind of who you are, don't you? I know with Spurs, when they had Poch at the helm, of course, they probably played some of the best football in the league, didn't they? But they had the players for it at the time. I think with this Spurs team, with Thomas Frank, you'll probably realize, you'll look at that squad and go, if you're going to start talking about sort of the top 5 or 6 best squads or teams in the league, Spurs, you struggle to get in that, wouldn't you? Really? You really would. You'd be like, I don't know about that. I mean, top 5 or 6 squad. Spurs, no. Man United squad. This is the mad thing. Man United squad is better than Spurs' squad, and our squad's still, even particularly now with the free signings, but with the other players we got on paper anyway, but like, well, Man United squad's better. But Thomas Frank will get something out of this Spurs squad. I really do think so. We hit over 100 likes, folks, which is fantastic. If you haven't already, be sure to subscribe. As you can see right there, 4 subscribers away from 21,400. A reminder, we will be getting a reaction from Fleckington once this stream has ended. And a reminder, we will be live on Friday for the Premier League opening game. It is Liverpool versus Bournemouth at Anfield. So I'll be live for that one. I think that was 8:00 kickoff. So I'll be live at just before the game kicks off, probably about 10 to, something like that. We'll watch the Premier League opener together, and we'll see if maybe we can get some shock, perhaps, happen at Anfield. I doubt it. But what you say, a shock? If there was, for instance, if Bournemouth went there and got a draw, that would be like a shock, wouldn't it? You'd be like, oh, wow. Slow start for Liverpool. It's weird, isn't it? Because in the early stages of the season, and this is sometimes as like Man United fans, I think we have the the sort of, we overemphasize things, don't we? That you can lose the opening couple of games of the season, and it really doesn't mean all that much in terms of the end of the season and where you'll end up and what have you. I remember the last time we won the Premier League in 2013, opening game of the season, we lost against Everton, Monday Night Football. Now, granted, either that day or after, we signed Robin van Persie. So it was very quick. So a lot did change, but you get my point. Stuff can still happen. So you want to do too much of an overemphasis on the first few games. M&M says, and Indy called the Leone to LFC. Here we go. 10 minutes before Fab. Any chance his recent news on Baleba is true? Well, like Flex said in the video that he put on United View earlier, he put the video out there of reacting to the news. If you haven't seen it, basically the news was that Indy Kalia had said that there was a board meeting yesterday, I think it was, and the decision was made, we're going to bid. We're going to bid for Carlos Baleba. How much? Don't know, but they were preparing a bid. And like Flex mentioned, after they got the hat tip from David Ornstein, you can't just go, they're bullshitters. They don't know what they're talking about. Like the GOAT of transfer breakers, the best, and the SJA journalist of the year. I mean, the top, not just about transfers, but football journalism. Like the guy co-signed a report from them and said that's legitimate. Now you would assume, forget all the other stuff. So like Eminem said there about the Leone stuff, who knows? But in terms of the source that they've got for that Baleba story, clearly is legitimate. And David Ornstein, he was actually on a podcast. Was it the Football Agents podcast? I think it was. And he said, I didn't really know, obviously, the law surrounding that account and all that kind of stuff. I had no idea. It was just a case of I checked it out and there was legitimacy to what was being said. So I have to say that they got it first. So until a big journalist comes out and says, that's not what we've heard or that's bullshit, then I suppose we have to believe, don't we? I mean, I said believe, but you know what I mean? We have to
believe.
No pun intended. I guess we do. Which again is very surprising, isn't it? So, and you know what, Eminem, is really interesting. You would have thought, and I actually had this conversation with Flex, and this is what's fun about the Football Flex, yeah, as we grow. But I had this conversation with Flex. I said, okay, well, my worry was he would record the video, and by the time we put it out, a journalist would say, we've not heard that. That's not true. I thought, it's going to be one of those things where the indicator is going to put it, and then Ornstein or Romano is going to say, despite rumors, hasn't happened or it isn't going to happen. We've not heard this. And interestingly enough, nobody has shot down that report. Now, I don't know if that's because nobody's paying attention. It's just like, well, we hadn't heard of a report to shoot down, so we can't really comment on it. But nobody's gone, well, I haven't heard that. They've just not said anything. So it does lead you to think that maybe there is something in it. Maybe there is. So I hope so. That would be great. Whether there is, I don't know. It says the Man United Academy game against Tamworth has been suspended, which is really concerning after the Sekou Kone situation. That is concerning. They're waiting for another ambulance to start the game, because I think it's a case of you can't. I would assume it's maybe a case of second half is underway. By the way, I think it's a case of you can't play the game maybe without an ambulance being there. But that is very concerning. Of course, we're getting more details than that. We'll let you know. But that's obviously a bit of a developing one. We're into the second half here for the Super Cup. If I am looking over my shoulder, it's because of that, as I mentioned. That is a real horrible situation, isn't it? Here's Porro. Polinia. Ball headed back, and the PSG goalkeeper, Lucas Chevalier, keeps that one. Richarlison takes the shot. Oh, saved. Bonehurt says, Belabor Bomber after this game, I guarantee it. Yeah, and Fabsy says, fingers crossed for Sekou Kone people. Absolutely. Just, like I said, just checking it out. As we're 2 minutes into this one, another set piece for Spurs. Ball in, back post, free header! Oh my God, it's got in! I tell you what, the goalkeeper, he's had a howler. It's an absolute howler. Spurs are 2-0 up. Christian Romero with the header. Spurs' new captain. And it's another set piece. Another set piece, just a crossfield pass. Free header at the back post. And the goalkeeper doesn't... I thought he was going to tip it wide. The goalkeeper made a great save earlier on. Donnarumma somewhere smiling. He's onside. Oh, it's poor from the keeper. You're suspect. Look at that. Space at the back post. He tries to... I don't know what he does. I don't know what he does. Look at this. Free header, back post. The keeper has to make it sit all wrong. And this is the frustration. This is the frustration with the overemphasis. The overemphasis on goalkeepers that can pass it out from the back. You've got to save shots. You've got to save shots. Keeper should do better. His technique's all over the place. Check complete, 2-0. I mean, Donnarumma saves that. You can. I know people can say, "Well, Donnarumma mistakes." Donnarumma doesn't make that one. Not in this game. Shocking. Absolutely shocking. And this is also the thing, isn't it? When you got success, you won the Champions League. Why do you try and tinker with a good thing? I know sometimes, as Pep Guardiola says, sometimes you've got to shake for continued success. But Spurs 2-0 up. They've been the better team. 2 set pieces. Luis Enrique, what have you done with that goalkeeping situation? What have you done? Oh, good play. Kvaratskhelia, but it's heavy touch. And Spurs have been worth it. Spurs have been absolutely been worth it. Can't argue. And this is why I said I think Spurs will do all right under Thomas Frank. It'll make them robust. It'll make them secure. 2 set pieces. Ball in by Dembele. Oh, Kvaratskhelia went for a bicycle kick, but he's actually given a free kick here. It's kicking off. Romero's got in the face of Kvaratskhelia, and Kvaratskhelia gone down. Oh, he tripped over Van der Ven, I think. But you know what? I tell you what as well, Thomas Frank, again, deserves huge credit. I was praising him at halftime, but he deserves massive credit because already in the space of a game, he's made him a bit more robust, hasn't he? A bit more robust on set pieces. I mean, proof will be in the pudding. We'll see how many games this continues on for. But I mentioned it at halftime. It's exactly the same at 50 minutes. He has got this game absolutely spot on. Spot on, Thomas Frank. I mentioned on United View a few days ago that we were in a different kind of timeline. We weren't in 616 anymore. If Spurs win 2 European trophies, we really are in a different timeline. David T's right. Ugly narratives cooking for Arsenal if Tottenham wins this. Spurs winning the Europa League and then winning the UEFA Super Cup as well. Compared to Mikel Arteta, Phase 6, only winning 1 FA Cup. You taking the piss? You taking the Arsenal had to win something this season anyway. I mean, there's the video that went out on United View tonight of who's under more pressure, Amorim or Arteta. And I think Robbie did actually put it really well. He said, well, there's different kinds of pressure, isn't it? It's different kinds of pressure. Arteta has to win something this season. Not only does he have ball in from kick by Kudus, surely going to be 3. Oh, I thought I was in. Side netting. Good grief. Side netting. I thought it was in. Look at it. Oh, my goodness. It's another free header at the back post. PSG, they're defending like statues. Half the stadium thinks it's in. PSG on set pieces are all over the place. So free kick to PSG. But we mentioned in the first half, shock, Richarlison's been yellow carded. I mean, I know. I'm shocked too. This would be massive for Thomas Frank, though. Absolutely massive. Win a trophy, and in the manner of it, 2-0 up against PSG. You feel like PSG will get a goal, though. But like we were saying there in the chat, the pressure it put on people like Arteta. You know, Spurs don't win trophies. Well, look, they fucking won 2 European trophies. Arteta, all right, where's your second place trophy? Here's Hakimi. Crossing into the box. He'll be easily dealt with by Romero. Kudus tried to hold it up. He wins a free kick. I'm not sure. I'm not sure if it was one. But Spurs, my goodness me. Yeah, the game, by the way, has been abandoned, by the way. So that game involving Manchester United under 23s against Tamworth has been abandoned due to Sekou Kone's head injury. That's really worrying. Can I be a pen? Oh, the ref had a think. The ref had a think. But oof. Barcola on the counter-attack. And then they get the free kick for the foul by Richarlison. Eminem says they win this. Spurs become more attractive in terms of winning trophies. Well, you know, momentum's a crazy thing, isn't it? Momentum's a crazy thing. If players feel like things are happening at a certain club, there'll be a lot of people watching this, wouldn't there? A lot of people watching this, and they'll go, I'll tell you what, Spurs, they just beat PSG. They're in the Champions League. Thought maybe I'll go on loan there, or yeah, I might go there. Jed Spence. Oh, referee, I'm not sure if that was a foul. I think he's really unlucky. Hakimi, Kvaratskhelia. And I tell you what, Jed Spence, and that'll be a foul. Jed Spence against Kvaratskhelia has been absolutely brilliant this evening. He's been superb. Look at that. Just gets his body in front of Kvaratskhelia. Wins the foul. Really smart. I'm just trying to see if there's any anything else on Sekou Kone. Again, the latest has been the match has been abandoned. If you haven't already, folks, click the like button. We're 7 likes away from 120. Spurs, that's got to be a foul. Yeah, it's got to be booking. Ridwan says, how did this team finish 17th and win the Europa League? Well, this is why I think Ange got the sack, because the playing squad and the group of players, he was being so stubborn with his style of play. You've got to play my way. You've got to play my way. You have to play my way. It was to the detriment of the team, to the detriment of performances. And that's why I say I think Thomas Frank is perfect, because he looks at a group of players and goes, right, how do I get the best out of them? What system suits them the most? Okay, who's our opponent? Right, we're going to have to tweak this. We're going to have to change that. He is adaptable. And for me, unless you are the best team in the world, you have to be adaptable, because there are better teams than you. The game requires it. And that's how you get 2-0 up against the European champions. Pedro Porro, free kick. That's what? About close to 30 yards. 25. Wow. Free kick. Oh, just wide. Comes off the wall. And I'll be honest with you, right? Like I said, in the first half, Thomas Frank absolutely got it right. Did really, really well. They've come out in the second half, Spurs, and I think they're better. I think, and this is the other thing, I think they've got better in this already in this first 13 minutes of the second half. They've got better. PSG have got worse as well. They've got worse. PSG are all over the shop. They look like a team that hasn't played since mid-July. Ball in. Oof. Sam says it would be so Spursy to lose 3-2, but Thomas Frank not letting it happen. I was thinking the same thing. If this was Ange because of the way he plays, you'd still be like PSG, not just 3. PSG will score 5 because Andrew just keep playing that way. But you're right. I just don't think Thomas Frank, the way he coaches teams, he wouldn't let that. He wouldn't. It wouldn't be possible, would it? You know what I mean? Under Thomas Frank, the way he plays, he wouldn't allow it. Kvaratskhelia is coming off. Seven likes away from 120 likes. If you haven't already clicked that like button. And I get it. In a perverse way, I am glad, just because, from a goalkeepers union point of view, the disrespect to Gianluigi Donnarumma of like, you're not very good with your feet when he helped you win the Champions League. I mean, Man United fans, we got pissy about the De Gea thing with the golden gloves, weren't good with the feet, but he was making big errors that season. Donnarumma, legitimately in some games last season, won them the Champions League. The champion, like, they don't beat Villa. They don't knock Villa out if it's not for Donnarumma. They don't even Arsenal. Big saves against Arsenal. Liverpool the same. He was brilliant at Anfield. Made the mistake, obviously, the first leg, but brilliant. And the way that, that whole situation's played out. And then they've got a goalkeeper in there like, well, he's good with his feet. It could be 3. Oh, that's a better save by Chevalier. It's a free kick in the end anyway. But that second goal, that's what you get. That's what you get with a modern keeper. That should be food and drink. Who have Spurs got on the first weekend of the season? Because if they win this trophy, it will give them that just boost, won't it? They got Burnley. Burnley Saturday home, 3:00. I mean, you think that should be a home banker, shouldn't it? Surely. But this is going to be the interesting thing with Thomas Frank Spurs. Is he going to be really good at games like this, where he can set the team up against a better team, make it difficult, win off set pieces, but then when he's got to play against a bit of a low block or a team that's going to be a bit more pragmatic, is he going to struggle with that? But then are Burnley going to do that? Scott Parker doesn't really play like that, does he? Scott Parker likes to properly play football. That's why he struggled with Bournemouth in the Prem, because he got Bournemouth to the Prem, tried to play football, and they just got picked apart. So, we shall see. Bentancur does really well there. Really good work. Really, really good work. Looks like Archie Gray's about to come on. Hakimi. Blocked. Oh, it's a great shot. Hakimi again. Yeah, he's offside. They let it play out. But he's offside. Ridwan says some championship teams change after getting promoted, including Frank's Brentford. But that's because they had a coach that did that. They had a coach that was adaptable and changed. And I don't know if Scott Parker will do that. That's the thing. Thomas Frank did, and he made Brentford an established Premier League side because of it. And he's top coach. People give him... We kind of turned our nose up against him. And, you can certainly say, yeah, maybe he wasn't right for Man United. All right, that's fair. You know what I mean? So a bit of an update here. It looks like the Man United under 23's clash match was called off because a replacement ambulance was needed and there wasn't one. So I don't know if that's actually because of the severity of the injury or something like that. It could actually be a case of the game was called off because they just didn't, like I said, have a replacement ambulance, maybe. So I guess that's maybe a positive, actually. That, well, it was called off because they couldn't get the replacement ambulance, maybe. Not necessarily because of the severity. Super chat from Super Arch. Super chat from a super person. Says, first round Carabao Cup is Grimsby Town. It's the second round, isn't it? Is it the second round? Sar with a shot. It's actually in the second round. But yeah, you're right. We are playing Grimsby in the Carabao Cup. Of course, we're in that second round because we're not playing European football. "65 minutes gone. Still Paris Saint-Germain 0, Spurs 2. Ball out wide. Bradley Barcola. Out wide. Zaire Emery. Doué. Has a shot. Good save by Vicario. It's out, though. Fabian Ruiz blocked. Another shot. It's in. 2-1. Right. Game on. Always offside. Flag's gone up. It was Bradley Barcola who put the ball in the back of the net. But it'll be checked. Let's have a look. First shot. Right, he's offside there. Yeah. That one's offside, yeah. Good call. It's the Fabian Ruiz one. Fabian Ruiz is offside. Ooh, I tell you what, that could have been. That would have been interesting if that had counted. What they would have done. Kevin Danso's taken. Oh, he took a run right to the. It's. I'm not sure if it was in the stomach. It might have been right in the nuts. Bradley Barcola's. He's got a bit of a limp he's coming off with here. We're 6 likes away from 130 likes, folks. Just 2 subscribers away from 21,400. Be sure to subscribe to the Football Flex. A reminder, we are going to have reaction from Fleck after the game. And we'll also be live Friday. Got to be live for Liverpool versus Bournemouth. Good touch that. Oof. Checked by João Palhinha, but the ball given away. Hakimi. And by to run onto. I tell you what, Jed Spence, he's done really well in this game. Really, really well. It's a bit of a foot race there. Match the pace, a little bit of strength. He's done really well, Jed Spence. Really, really impressive by Spence. Like I said, Barcola just didn't really get anything out of him the whole game. Here's Kudus. Bentancur. A little dink pass. PSG have got it back, though. But you feel like what will be interesting, that's why I said it would have been interesting if PSG had got that goal. What will be interesting just to see if PSG do get one back, what will happen to Spurs then? Here's Hakimi. Lee. That's a bit better. He might be onside. Cuts it back. Cleared, though. But you feel like with this shape, with that back five, Spurs still relatively comfortable. There's the pass. Vitinha. Fabian Ruiz. Desiree Doué headed away. Vitinha. Desiree Doué. Ball in. Oh, wasn't a bad ball, but in the end just gets gobbled up by Vicario. So makes you why don't we have this semi-automated thing in the Premier League? I don't know yet. How that was, I remember that was going to be in by, when was it going to be in by one of the international breaks last season? Never happened. What a crock of shit. 20 minutes to play in Udine. And Tottenham still ahead by 2-0. 2-0. Very impressive by Spurs so far. Lee. Hakimi. Hakimi through the legs of Spence. Cut back. Oh, that's a chance. Dembele's put it wide. Well, I was expecting a bit more there. Might have been just offside for Ruiz. But it just scuffed it. Yeah, just scuffed it. Absolutely. Tottenham changes. Tottenham are putting on Archie Gray and Dominic Solanke. I thought Solanke was injured. It's interesting. Indicalia has just he's quote tweeted when David Ornstein was talking about him earlier. And he said, this account is not what it was in 2012. We've joined forces with tier 1 journalists. We're committed to delivering the most accurate and timely new transfer news out there. Our goal to claim the top spot in the transfer market. We want David Ornstein. He knows. Interesting. I wonder if like a journalist did buy it or something. I wonder if that's what happened. The resurgence of that is so surprising. It's just no one predicted. No one would have predicted that in 2025, would they? But and speaking of things nobody predicted, 2-0. 2-0 Tottenham Hotspur. Goodness me. Richarlison went off for Dominic Solanke. I think Richarlison actually did all right. He's a shithouse, isn't he? Proper shithouse. But we people have been waxing lyrical, of course, about this PSG team, but Thomas Frank's done a number on them so far. But there's still time for PSG to come back. Good pass there. Vitinha. Fabsy says, oh, and I have to say your beard has grown very well. I remember times you said you can't grow one. I can't. This is going. This is going. Trust me, like in a couple of days, this will be gone. This is just laziness. Sort of sloppiness. It'll be gone by next week. Man, Raj, keep looking at that midfield for Spurs this evening. Bentancur, Sarr, Palhinha. It's a shithouse midfield. It's just a energy, win the ball back. Not a huge amount of technical quality. I suppose Bentancur shows Bentancur, but yeah. But if it works, it works. If that's what the system is, and you know you're not great, and you can check your ego enough to be like, look, we're not great. We need that kind of midfield. Then you go for it, don't you? Nothing wrong with it. Solanke, Porro tried to run onto it. Mendes, he's going to win that foot race, though, isn't he? But a lot of energy by the Spurs wing backs. I talked about how hot it is there as well. Batinha. Now Lee. Mbai just into the box, but cleared. Do you think what would happen if PSG did get that goal? Looks like Gonzalo Ramos is going to come on for PSG as well. Oh, we did it, by the way, folks. We hit 21,400 subscribers. Big up to everyone that's recently subscribed. Maybe Jed Spence just looking a little bit leggy, maybe. And by a couple of step overs. He's into the box and by. Going back to Batinha. Sweeps out wide. Fabian Ruiz. Doué. Ball in, headed away. Cross was poor. Bentancur headed it away with ease. Hakimi. That's a testing ball. Nobody there, though. Right across to Desiree Doué. $40 minutes to play in Udine. Pedro Porro won it back, and then he was fouled. He's done really, really well, Pedro Porro. Again, that back five, that back five for Spurs, Spence and Porro as your wing backs have done excellently. Then the defensive three, Van de Ven, you've got pace there. Of course, he's got his goal. Romero, good leader. Danzo, done okay. I don't,
done okay.
But I would, you know what? Back five's done really well. Like I said, and then the midfield three, then it's a shithouse midfield three. Then you're hoping for your front two just have a little bit of flair and do something. But they've done a number. They've done a number on PSG. Van de Ven, Romero get you goals. 2 centre backs. Forget, can you do it on a cold Wednesday night in Stoke? Can you do it on a cold Wednesday or a hot Wednesday in Udine? Really? Referee just having a bit of a word there. Doué just walking around. He didn't really do that much tonight, did he? Didn't really do that much, did he, this evening? I mean, well, Come on. That's why they pay me the big bucks. Dembele, he's been miles off it. It was a shocking pass. Batinha. And he's now on the left-hand side. He's going to try, got nothing out of Spence, so he's going to try and do something to Porro. Batinha cuts back, trying to find some space on his right foot. Tries that ball out towards the back. Dembele can't get anything past Jed Spence. Nobody can this evening. Nobody. Not anyone. Hakimi, ball in. Was a bit of a P-roller. A bit sloppy. And is Matthijs Tal is coming on. Mohamed Kudus off. Tal on. Kudus did well. Maybe not the best end product, but certainly a lot of endeavour. You can't argue that. But again, the work rate of Spurs this evening has been very impressive. Vitinha takes a shot, miles away. You just wonder, they're playing 3:00 on the Saturday. The fact that they've played here on the Wednesday, they've had to travel, the heat. First game of the season, they could be a little bit tired against Burnley. Could be a little bit tired. As they always say, games after European matches are a bit tough, particularly when your first match is against a newly promoted side. Have you got the possibility for a bit of overconfidence? You could. What a weird thing it would be if, like with Ten Hag, his thing became like, well, I'm winning trophies. I don't give a shit. I'm winning trophies, but you're shit. Imagine that's what's happened with Spurs. Like, after not winning trophies, they don't get any better in the league, but they just win cup competitions. They just start winning Europa League, Super Cups, FA Cups, Carabao. They just become this supreme cup side, but rubbish in the Prem. Is Dembele? That'll be a foul. Bundled over by Tell right on the edge of the box. Really clumsy. No need. I'm not sure what Tell's thinking. Look at this, because clumsy. Look at that. Just clumsy. I don't know what you're doing. Referee, it's not really a difficult decision for him to make, is it? Good grief. It's less than 10 minutes to go. Here's a free kick. Just near the edge of the box. Hakimi standing over it. It's a big wall. Can he get it up and over? Vitinha's going to take. Or is Lee, actually? What's happened? Oh, all right. It's hit one of the Tottenham players in the head. Pedro Porro down. And obviously it's a head injury. Let's have a look. Oof. Yeah, it's a nasty one. It hurts. So a bit of a stoppage here. If you haven't already, click the like button. 4 likes away from 140 likes. Be sure to subscribe. We did get over 21,400, which is fantastic. But looks like Porro's gone down. It was actually his shoulder. When we played Spurs in the final, I remember there was a couple of questionable stoppages, wasn't there, of players going down and being like, I'm not sure that was that bad. Got to play the game, then, yeah. There's Gattuso. Sat next to Bonucci. Cuts the ball back. Oh, Gonzalo Ramos nearly could just tap that one home. B. Tried the cross, blocked again. Who by? This time by Jed Spence. Cuts it back. And deflected out. That's a corner ball. PSG finally, turning the screw a little bit. But to be honest, PSG are turning the screw. But I think also Spurs have backed off because they're going, well, look, there's with stoppage time, about 10 minutes left here. You've got to do something. We'll just sit in the back five and be compact and comfortable. Ball in, headed away, doesn't even beat the first man. it must be said, they've actually been really disappointing tonight, PSG. They've been really, really flat. Now, obviously, look, they haven't had a pre-season. First game since the Club World Cup final. So you could certainly say that. But they've looked really flat. Is that because no João Neves playing? Maybe. But ball in. Oh, it wasn't the best one from nobody there. Edge of the box. Lee with a shot. It's 2-1. There's one. Here we go. Here we go, folks. Lee with an absolutely fantastic goal. And this is the lifeline, I think, that PSG were looking for. This is the lifeline. Absolutely smashed it into the bottom corner. Luis Enrique, he's not animated at all. Thomas Frank looks a nervy man. It was a great ball in by Dembele, wasn't it? Good defensive header. Out to Lee. Could they get out to him a bit quicker? But it's a brilliant strike. 5 minutes to go. Right, we've got a bit of a photo finish, one would think, folks. Let's see what happens. 2-1. Is the comeback going to be on? That's the question. 5 minutes to go. A little bit of stoppage time, one would think, as well. But, you know, Danso is going to go for a long throw. So let's see if they've got something. Long throw, Danso. Headed out. Is that a shove in the back? Yeah, ref gives a free kick. Right. Now, if there was ever a team that's got a moment of magic, of course, it is PSG. Oh, he doesn't even manage to make a touch. Spurs throw. We're 3 likes away from 140 likes, guys. If you haven't already, click that like button. And be sure to subscribe to the Football Flex. PSG, do you feel like it's going to be one more chance? Feel like there might be. Feel like there might be one more chance. Surely. And bye. Tina with a bit of a hit and hope over the top there. Didn't really work. Lucas Bergvall looks like he's going to be coming on. Vitinha. Fabian Ruiz. Dembele. Out to Hakimi. Kyle nearly over here. Marquinhos. Ball in. Spurs, they are packed right in. Solid fight. You can literally see 5-3-2 with not a lot of space in between the lines at all. Dembele tries the cross. Deflected out for a corner. Is there going to be a last-minute drama? Could this one be going to penalties? Ball in. Not wait. Edge of the box. Nuno Mendes. Deflected over. Oh, it would have been very interesting. How well did he hit it? Let's have a look. Maybe. By the way, to Man United fans, Sekou Kone is conscious, stable, and communicating with the medical team after being stretchered off against Tamworth. He's been taken to hospital as a precaution for further checks. So that is some really, really, really positive news about Sekou Kone there. Is that he's stable, he's communicating, and he's heading to hospital as a precaution for further checks. Vitinha puts it out wide. Ibrahim. Oh, that's that. Whoa. He went down. Ref's not having it. Ref says goal kick. Now, he may have been looking for that, but it was... Oh. And the referees booked him as well. Initially, I went a little bit like, I thought it was something, innit? Let's have a look. No, it's not enough. Too easy. There is contact, but, you know. But fortunately, Sekou Kone looks to be like, it's not really, really bad news. That's really positive for him. Bergvall is on for Spurs. Right, we're into stoppage time. 5 additional minutes. Oh, it's just changed it 6. I don't know if I've ever seen that before. I don't know if I've ever seen that before. 5, and then he went, no, I'll give it 6. I can't believe that. I don't know if I've ever seen that before. I'd be furious. I don't know if I've ever seen that. I'm going to give 5 additional. Actually, no, make it 6 additional. What? For fucking what? I'd be furious. Unless he was like, I always meant to put in 6, but I just put the wrong number in. But it was announced to the crowd. It was like 5 extra minutes, 6 extra minutes. I'd be like, excuse me? Are you taking the piss? Ball hit over the top. Yes, Ridwan says 5 + 1 in achievable add-ons. Badness. Well, they always say it's a minimum of, don't they? It's a minimum of. It's to the referee's discretion. What's the thing? And hold it up until PSG score, maybe. Barcola, excuse me. Here's Hakimi, Vitinha, Marquinhos. And by to Marquinhos again. Vitinha. Hakimi. And that will go out for a PSG throw. We're nearly halfway through this stoppage time here. Marquinhos. Lee. Cross deflected. I tell you what, Jed Spence again. Jed Spence has been absolutely brilliant. He has been absolutely sensational, hasn't he, Jed Spence? Anyone that's been on his side has been just completely literally locked off. Marquinhos. Hakimi. Dembele crosses! 2-2! 2-2! And we're going to penalties. You just can't write off the champions of Europe, can you? You just can't. You can't write off the champions of Europe, and you can't escape the legacy of the Tottenham. Unbelievable. And I tell you what, I was just praising Jed Spence. From the right-hand side, Ousmane Dembele whips it in. It's a brilliant cross. Wow. Look at that. Oh, the cross is brilliant. Absolutely sensational. fizzes it across goal. There's Gonzalo Ramos, top header into the corner. And that, folks, is a level game. That is 2-2. From 2-0 down, PSG are back in this. And do you know what this means, folks? We're not having extra time. We're going to penalties. And they didn't even need the 6 minutes. It was in the fourth. 2-2. And for the second consecutive Football Fleck stream, we're heading to penalties, my friend. And he's been so quiet in this game, hasn't he, Ousmane Dembele? We mentioned. I mean, Thomas Frank's just learning a lesson. He's like, but tactically, I'd had the game. We were 2-0 up like 10 minutes ago. And then the footballing gods went, this is Tottenham we're talking about, yeah? Spurs. Here's Lee. PSG were out. They were out of the game. They were out of the game. Out to Mbaye. Surely they can't get a winner here, PSG, can they? Surely they can't. Hakimi. Blocked by Spence. And to be honest, it's not been a good game, really, has it, folks? I mean, 2-2, we've got some drama now. But as a match, it's been not a great watch. I mean, we watched Liverpool Palace at the weekend. That was a much better game, wasn't it? But drama. European football drama. Ball in! Oh, Dembele, I tell you what. Dembele was a brilliant ball. And Kevin Danso just does enough in the end there. I think it was going towards Gonzalo Ramos again. Christian Romero's gone down with cramp. Oh, referee, you bought it. Christian Romero, you son of a bitch. You know exactly what you're doing. What, you got cramp in the 6th minute of injury time when PSG are on the attack? I don't buy it. I don't buy it. Where's Jim Ross? Where's Jim Ross when you need him? My goodness me.
That son of a bitch!
Yeah, he knows exactly what he's doing. Oh, I got cramp. I got cramp. Are they still on the attack? Are they still on the attack? I got a bit of cramp. Are they got, yeah, the ref's blowing the whistle. Thank you. Thank you very much. Oh, yeah, yes. Much better now. Oh. That's full time. Folks, we're getting penalties. Spurs 2-0 in front. A goal in the first half from Mickey van der Ven. A second from Christian Romero in the second half. And then PSG, there was what? 2 goals in 9 minutes. And now we're heading to penalties again. We're heading to pens. Oh, my. Wow. If you haven't already, click the like button. We're 1 like away from 150 likes, folks. Be sure to subscribe as well to the Football Flex. We're on that road to 21,500. We'll be getting Flex's reaction after the game. Be sure to get your super chats in, your members chats. You can join the Flex Football Club. Get your badges, your emojis. That goal, look at that by Lee. Boy, it's an absolute. Look at this. It's a bullet. Absolute bullet. You had the Spurs player on the bench, Pally, to go, mind, keep cool, keep cool. You play for Spurs. It doesn't work like that. This makes it even more embarrassing for United, doesn't it? Man United, we still lost. That's how crap we are. Spurs were Spurs and Spurs were Spursy. We still couldn't do it. But they got the huddles. And by the way, as well, I know which keeper I'd want in goal in this situation right now, don't you? Who would you want? Would you want Chevalier or would you want Donnarumma? Penalty shootout Donnarumma. You could have had in the sticks for this. penalty shootout Donnarumma, that would have been the one. Instead, you got Chevalier, who was making mistakes in that game. We'll see. We'll see what happens. Let's see what he's about indeed, Ridwan. We did hit 150 likes, by the way, guys, which is great. Next stop, 160, 5 likes away. As we await pens. See what happened. And indeed, if you are just joining us, the game was 2-2. 2-0 up were Spurs up until the 85th minute. 85th minute, but can't take the Spurs out of Tottenham, whatever that means. I don't know if that's a phrase. As I'll make sure that I've got this all set up and ready. Which end are they going to? Yeah, the PS new Chevalier was big mistake. Linda says, LOL, I turned off the TV and gone to bed. Never do. You can never. Can't ever do it, Linda. Right. We're heading to penalties in the final of the UEFA Super Cup. Let's reset that clock, Owen. All right, we're back to pens. Obviously, goalkeepers in Vicario, in his home city, by the way. They were telling a story about his uncle's got a pub around the corner. It's like a Spurs pub or something because he plays for them. Now, the penalties are going to be taken at the Tottenham end. Of course, they were taken at the Liverpool end at the weekend, and it didn't mean any difference, did it? Crystal Palace still won. Right. Click that like button, folks. We've got close to 200 people watching, which is fantastic. We are 162 likes to see if we can get it to 170. Be sure to subscribe. Remember, Flex's reaction is coming up after this game. Also, we'll be live on Friday. Liverpool versus Bournemouth. Opening game of the Premier League at Anfield. First up, it's Dominic Solanke, number 19 for Spurs, second half substitute. Solanke up against Lucas Chevalier. So very short run up for Dominic Solanke. In front of the Tottenham supporters, Solanke! It's a brilliant pen. Brilliant pen, and that's 1-0 to Tottenham. Short run up. He likes it. Works for him. Keeping, I think nearly. It's like a little bit of a fingertip, but doesn't matter. Chevalier did guess the right way, but those the bricks, mate. It is Vitinha. Arguably one of the most technically proficient midfielders across Europe. Lauded for how good he is on the ball. Left foot, right foot. 12 yards out. Which foot will he use? Will he get the ball in the back of the net? Vitinha, 12 yards. Kind of creeps up to this one. Steps up and he missed. He missed. I thought it went in the bottom corner. He misses the whole goal. Good golly. Look, he creeping, shanked it. It's wide. Oh, my. Look at Thomas Frank. Yes. Spurs get the advantage. Ooh. Now, here we go, folks. Rodrigo Bentancur, he's had a brilliant game, hasn't he? He's been an absolute machine in the middle of the park. 12 yards. Pressure is on. Bentancur steps up. Oh, he's absolutely smashed it into the top corner, the top right-hand corner of the PSG goalkeeper. You're not saving that one, mate. Look at this. Well, it's not top corner, but it's actually the pace. It's the pace that beats Chevalier. And again, he guesses the right way, but you're just not going to save that. You're just not. 211 people watching. Click that like button. Be sure to subscribe. 3 away from 21,410. Spurs, just like they were on the night, 2-0 up in the penalty shootout, but PSG did come back to draw. Gonzalo Ramos, he scored the equaliser. If this is a miss, PSG in major trouble. Gonzalo Ramos, that's how you take a penalty. None of this stutter, none of this stop-start, watching the goalkeeper doing the creeping. Just run up, smash it into the back of the net. That's exactly what Gonzalo Ramos does there. Old school me, smash it down the middle and give the Spurs fans some shit afterwards. That's exactly what he did. That's exactly what he does. I'd be going to Vitinha and going, that's how you take a pen. Mickey van de Ven, of course, he scored the opener for Spurs in the first half. Van de Ven, is he going to have a normal run-up? I think he is. Takes it. Oh, it's saved! Saved by Chevalier. Now, he's gone the right way for every single pen, hasn't he? For every single pen, he'd gone the right way. And to be fair, it's not a great save. Oh, it's not a great penalty, excuse me. Look at this. It's close to the keeper. It's one of those ones, if you're guessing, you're going to get it. And he saves. Now, all PSG have to do here, all Ousmane Dembele has to do here is score, and then we're level. Ousmane Dembele, surely he doesn't miss. He's cold as ice. He's cold as ice. Ousmane Dembele, he's had the Midas touch. Can he be golden once again? Dembele, of course he's going to score. Ousmane Dembele, he's never going to miss. Top player. You saw his assist he got for the equalising goal there in regulation time, and he gets the equalising penalty in the penalty shootout. It's a good penalty. Composure. Top player. 30 likes away from 200. If you haven't already, click the like button. As we now have a level penalty shootout again. Despite the miss from Vitinha, there was also a miss from Mickey van de Ven. Advantage is gone. We're back square. It's Matisse Tal. Technically a summer signing from Bayern Munich. Of course, he did come on loan in the January window. But Tal to take. Will it be telling of Spurs' future for lifting silverware? Matisse Tal, right-footed. He's missed as well. He's missed the target too. He sent the keeper the wrong way. He's the first to send the keeper the wrong way. Chevalier's guessed the right way every single time, but he sent the keeper the wrong way, but he sent the ball the wrong way. Look at this. Takes the stutter. Oh, and it's wide. It's not even, it's properly wide. It's properly wide. This is pressure. This is sport. This is drama. And now, after being behind in the penalty, being behind in the game, being behind in the penalty shootout, PSG, for the first time this evening, could be set to lead. And it's the person who got the first goal back. It's Lee, the South Korean, for PSG. If he scores this, then PSG have the lead. It's Lee. Oh, I tell you what, it's a top penalty. It's a top penalty. Sends Vicario the wrong way. You might even hit side netting. It's that good. Look at this. I tell you what, that's a great pen. Even if he went the right side, you don't save those. And now, Spurs must score. If Spurs miss, game over. PSG win the European Super Cup. The UEFA European Super Cup. Pedro Porro has to score. Pedro Porro must score for Spurs. Ousmane Dembele saying, go that way. He's had a great game, Porro. Porro has to score. Pedro Porro, pressure's on. And he does score. Right. It all comes down to this, folks. It all comes down to this. It is Vicario versus who? Top penalty by Pedro Porro, roof of the net. So who's it going to be? Who is taking this decisive penalty for PSG? If PSG score, they win. If Vicario saves, we keep going on. After 90 plus minutes of action, after 4 goals, it all comes down to this. It's Nuno Mendes for the UEFA Super Cup, and he scores! And PSG are not only champions of Europe, but they are now UEFA Super Cup winners as well. PSG not at their best this evening. Not at their best whatsoever. Not at their best for probably 85 minutes of the 90. But you don't need to be good for the entire 90 plus stoppage time. You just need to be good enough for split seconds, and that's exactly what they were. For 10 minutes and on penalties, they were just enough to defeat Spurs. Thomas Frank, you've got nothing to be embarrassed about. You can hold your head up high. You had a tactical game plan that works. Unfortunately, it's there. It's the Spurs DNA that comes back to haunt Tottenham Hotspur once again. No preseason for PSG, no problem. They still win the UEFA Super Cup. The question now is, how can Spurs react to this? They're in Europe still this season. They're in the Champions League. Is this going to be the first several bitter and devastating European defeats, or is this going to give them confidence? Is this going to give them some motivation to say, you know what? We held our own. We deserved more. We could have had another European trophy, but for PSG, they're still the team to beat in Europe. They're still the ones. They're now becoming serial trophy winners in Europe, maybe not in global competition, but certainly in Europe. And Luis Enrique celebrating once again. Penalty shootouts. That was the decisive moment indeed. 4-3 after penalties. PSG win. I tell you what, that was drama, wasn't it? That was peak drama. That was peak sport. And as I mentioned, the game for the longest period of time really didn't have a lot sort of to it, did it? It didn't have a lot to it. But I mentioned with Chevalier, that I wasn't sure, you probably would want Donnarumma for this penalty shootout, wouldn't you? You'd want to have a Donnarumma in there. You'd want to have someone that you knew was going to deliver in the penalties. And fair play to Chevalier, he did deliver. He was excellent in that. Spurs, I mean, if you're 2-0 up with 5 minutes to go of normal time, surely you can get over the line. Surely you can get over the line. I know this is Spurs, though, isn't it? They just can't. What does it say about Manchester United? I mean, they managed to beat Man United last season to win a European trophy, but I don't know, folks. Wow. Be sure to smash the like button if you haven't already. Closing on 200 likes. If you haven't already clicked that like button, be sure to subscribe. Reminder, there's going to be a reaction coming from Flex very shortly after this. And also going to be live Friday for that Premier League opener here on the Football Flex. It's going to be Bournemouth traveling to Anfield to face Liverpool in the Premier League opener. So be sure to join us then. Really appreciate everyone that's tuned in once again for this watch long. First of many this season. Like I said, we're going to have at least one every weekend, probably 2. For instance, I said we're going to be live twice this weekend, on the Friday and on the Saturday for the lunchtime game. Next week, we're going to be live, I think 3 times, or there's quite a few big games. So the big games we're going to be live for is more reactions, more interviews, maybe some stuff I can't really talk about at the moment. Really exciting stuff here planned for the Football Flex. So stay locked in. We're certainly locked in for this season. Appreciate everyone for tuning in, and we'll be back. Flex's reaction coming soon. Have a good one.